Rhonda here from Nelson Soapery. Let's do our Sunday chat. So today is going to be a really fun one, actually. And this is a little bit about what a few people have asked me about. So we're going to be talking about Patreon today. We're also going to be talking about social media and how you can kind of set yourself up a little bit of a calendar. And so that way it's going to be easier for you to know exactly what you're doing and what you're posting. And then also we'll talk a little bit about the conference, because that's something that lots and lots of people have been asking me about. So of course that is super important, because that is coming up on March the 21st, which of course is a Monday, which is very, very exciting, isn't it? So anyway, I'm planning to do all of that, and we're getting ready for everything definitely with that. So for now, let's get into the chat. And of course, anyone that comes on here can watch me later, or you can watch me earlier, whatever you like. But our Sunday chat does start at 11 a.m. and it is in Melbourne Standard Time. So Eastern Standard Times in Melbourne. So anyway, like I said, let's get going, and we're going to start to talk a little bit about the few things. So I might we'll start with the conference and, you know, maybe a few minutes on that. Oh, hi, Trish. Good morning, lovely. How are you? Hi, Paula. Good morning. Welcome. So now I thought we're going to talk about a few things. As I said, the conference, we'll talk about Patreon, and we will also talk about a few others. Oh, from the US. Welcome, sweethearts. A couple of you from there. I know I have a few girls from the US that watch me, and a couple guys actually, so which is a bit exciting, isn't it? So like I said, we're going to start with the conference first, and I'm just going to quickly go over that so that everyone knows what's happening, because it's not too far away. Even though, look, let's address this. Everyone's probably going, oh my God, COVID, the numbers. But, you know, to be really honest, I just think, you know, we expected these numbers. We really did expect them. So, you know, my thing is I wouldn't be that stressed. I don't think planes are going to stop and start and all of this kind of thing. So we're just going to, you know, see how it goes. But I am actually going to be speaking to the conference. Hi, Carol. And, you know, where it's going to be held, which is the Brighton Beach Hotel. So I'm just going to make sure we go over everything with numbers and everything that's going to happen. Hi, Michigan. Welcome, Laurie. Because I think the big thing with the conference is, you know, we have a lot of people live, a lot that are live for the conference, a lot from the US, Australia, Canada, France. There's quite a lot. So like I said, you know, people will be logging in, but of course we also have our gorgeous people that are coming to see us. And this is new for us. So, you know, the first year is kind of going to be a bit of a walking ground to see how we go. But the first year we do have a lot of gifts that will be given out. So people that are coming in person, I think they're going to get about $100 worth of gifts anyway, because all the suppliers are handing that over. Oh, hello. Hi, how you going from Canada? Welcome, darling. So do remember, anyone that wants to buy a ticket for the conference online, you can definitely do that. It can be any country, and you'll also get a recording of it. So later on, you can just keep that as well. So anyway, like I said, you know, we can definitely do that. So we're going to go through it. So the date is the 21st of March, 2022. The time it will be done will be 9 a.m. Through to 5 p.m. So even if you're watching live, you'll see the whole thing. If you're working or something and you can't do it, which I totally understand, you'll be able to watch the recording. So it will just give you a link to watch the recording, and then you can keep that recording as well. So the only thing is you can't post that on social media. So you just need to understand that that can't be done. You can't put it on there, because obviously people are paying, and it wouldn't be fair to people that have actually paid for the ticket as well. And so that's for that. And if you're coming in person, you'll get all your meals, morning tea, afternoon tea. And I think we have about $5,000 in prizes to give away. And one of the amazing ones is a business coach. So I think he would be an amazing gift. And, you know, you can win these prizes virtual. A lot of them are virtual gifts. So, yeah, and I also do have a graphic artist that I've got last minute coming in. So then, you know, people can ask him questions about packaging and labeling and all of those kind of things as well. So he's really good to talk about things like that as well. And so, like I said, so, you know, we've got the business coach, we've got a supplier as well. We have 2 workshops, a candle workshop and a soaping workshop from not me, they're actually professionals in the trade that have been in the trade a long time. And then we'll also have the brothers from Shea Deluxe Butter, and they will actually be coming in talking as well. So, which will be really good. They're going to talk about the story because they're a global company that ship shea, cocoa, and all of that. And it's done in a fair trade, which is really good as well. And it's vegan. So there's a lot of benefits to them. And they have such a good story. I'm actually excited to hear them. I really want to hear what they've got to say. And they've been very supportive. So we're lucky to have those as a speaker as well. And, you know, one of the big things is community. Like, to make it in business, let's be honest, to make it in business, you need community. You really honestly need community. So that's something that I think is so important. Oh, hi, Sue. Welcome, darling. And, you know, you'll be able to speak to other soapers, other candle makers, see how they've done it. We have a lot of people flying in from Queensland and Adelaide. So that will be really exciting seeing those people there. Of course, this year's going to be a smaller event. We might only have 50, 60 people. I don't know. We'll see how the tickets go, but in person, only because, you know, being COVID, they'll sort of have a gap in between people and so on. But please don't worry about that. And I'm going to address one thing as well. I have got it on the site that we unfortunately can't give a refund for anyone for it because all that money is already invested into everything else. And, you know, as a part of a conference, it's a ticket. Tickets, you don't get a refund. If you can't come or something's wrong or you've had a tragedy, please contact me, you know, and we can refer it to the next year or something like that, or change it to an online. There's always other avenues on how we can help. So, but please contact me if there's, you know, you've got an issue with your ticket or something, because, you know, we're here to help. We don't want to say no to anyone. But anyway, so I thought we'll get those bits out of the way first, and the main thing is community. So anyway, I've talked about that. If you want the ticket, it's not sold on my website. It's actually sold on the Australian Candle and Soapery website, which is in the description on most of my videos. Should be on all the videos. So you'll be able to get the links to go and read up about it before you buy your ticket. Make sure that's what you want to do and you're happy to have the ticket. I think the first year, to be honest, you'll be able to get a ticket. But I actually think when it comes to the second and third year, you won't. Because if you have a ticket for this year, then next year you'll be able to get the early bird and you'll get a discount that other people won't get. Only the people that actually have the ticket and are there or live will get the opportunity to get the discount for the second one. It is quite substantial discount for the second year. So anyway, and we will be doing that on the day. So then you can just link in and buy it on the day. So anyway, that's how that's going to work. And the reason it's a separate website to my own, even though I do own the rights to that. But the problem is I didn't want it on my site because, as I said, you know, I don't make any money out of it. All the money is 100% invested back into it. So that's why it has to be separate, just so that, you know, my little business is separate to that. But anyway, we've spoken about that. So if anyone has any questions, just PM me or ask. If you want to put in your candle or soap to go into the draw to win the Soaper of the Year, then please do that. You'll get a trophy. Good morning, lovely. Welcome onto my little chat. So now we've talked about that. Now let's get into socials. Now I've written, you know, you can always tell. I mean, look, I've got a million bits of paper here, haven't I? So now I thought we will talk about socials, because this is a thing. Even I was, when you first do it, you're like, how do I do it? What do I post? Is it important what I post? What sort of content should I say? Should I have me in the image? I mean, there's just so many things that we all don't know, and it's really hard. So we'll get into a few things up through my research. You know, I found a few things like this, so hopefully these are helpful. So now I'm going to give you a few different socials, and then we'll talk about how much you should post. This is on average what people say, professionals that I've looked into. So if you've got a Patreon, you need to do 2 to 3 times a week, because people are paying for that. So, you know, they want to know, and you want to give them content that you don't have on any other social media, so that, you know, they know that they're important and they're paying for something that they're actually getting. You have to create value. So if it's a Patreon, and as everybody knows, you know, Patreon's very new to me. I've only just opened it last night. And a huge thanks to Christine and Leanne, who are my first Nelson stars that are on there. So you guys are definitely my first one. So thank you. I didn't expect anybody to sign on at all. I thought it'd be a month before anyone did. So, but that's really nice. And our Patreon's like $10, or you can have the $50 one. The $50 one means you get a box each month of gifts, to try our products. But most people are going to do the $10 one. And that's fine. And then you'll still get everything. Everything's going to be the same on the 50 or the 10. The only difference is the $50 one will get a box. And the only reason it's 50 is it costs so much for postage and the product. So it's more the postage you're paying for. But anyway, so then that is my Patreon, how I'm doing that. But anyway, you should be posting 2 to 3 times a week on that. If you've got Instagram, they say once a day is enough. But I say if you've got something interesting, post twice. Doesn't matter, does it? You can post 1 story and 1 post. So that's definitely a good thing to do on there. If you've got Facebook, you want to do 2 to 3 times a day. They say that is more than fine. I'm going to be honest here. I don't do as much. Oh, thank you. On my way to my new Patreon. I know I wasn't going to do it, because I don't want anyone to think I'm greedy. But, honestly, doing YouTube, doing Patreon, and I'm going to go into YouTube a bit in a minute, but doing all of those takes a lot of time. Like, honestly, it's a full-time job. So anybody that says, I get lots of people that say, look, I'm doing socials, it's not working. The one thing I'm going to say to you, you need to be consistent all the time. You need to show up. It doesn't matter if you're sick, doesn't matter what happens in your family. You need to show up. If you're doing this, you need to be really committed. And as you all know, I'm really, really committed. Even if I had not one person show up on my lives on Sunday, I would still do it. Because sometimes I have 500 and 600, 1,000 people that view it. So, and at the start I have 1 person view it. So that's the thing. You can't think of that. Even if I had nobody join my Patreon, I would still have my calendar of planning and what I was going to do, because you don't know when someone's going to be on it, and you've got to do the right thing. You've got to be consistent. You've got to create content that people want to see, and you've got to be fair. Because even in YouTube, even though it's free to watch YouTube, it's people's time. So time is money. So, you guys are watching me, spending your time, your Sunday watching me. So there's no good me coming on and just rambling about nothing. You actually need value. So if you're going to do any of these things, I really suggest value. So yeah, so Facebook 2-3 times a day, but honestly, I only do it a couple times a week at best. Facebook's not something I'm really big on. I need to get better on that. And YouTube, they say once a week, but as a lot of you know, I usually do 2, 3, sometimes 4 times. But, I don't like to create a calendar for YouTube. I like to just show up and do it. Every Sunday, that's a given. I'm going to do that. And because I'm no longer doing any markets anymore, I'll always be here on Sunday at 11 a.m. So that's handy. You all know that I'll definitely be here on the Sunday. Because the markets were getting too much for me with my business growing so much. I just can't do markets as well as Patreon, YouTube, making the products, shipping out. I mean, there's some days that, I got to ship out 10 parcels. So there's some days I ship out none. Let's be honest. But, it's a big thing. And where I live, Australia Post don't collect. You have to actually take it to the post office. So every parcel you see, I have to wrap it, obviously make it and everything. Then I have to go and drive it to Australia Post, and all of that. And plus scanning it in through Australia Post and getting the tracking number. So it's a lot. But anyway, and so they're the main things, okay, that we'll talk about social, how often you should do it. Now, to start with, the best thing to do is create a category. So when we say a category, it's like, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to explain to people? So, for instance, are you going to talk about your products? Are you going to talk about your design? Are you going to talk about all your social networks and what you're up to? Are you going to talk about you? Because, look, I'm going to be honest here. People want to see you. They want to know you. They want to like you. Oh, hi, lovely. Welcome. So, and also on YouTube, people want to know you too. Like, a lot of you tell me all the time that you look forward to seeing me. It's kind of like a friend across the sea. And that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted community. And I honestly do see a lot of you as being friends because, you know, you guys contact me, you talk to me, you kind of get a rapport. People that I've never even met have sent me flowers for my dad. I mean, when he passed away. I mean, that is so nice. You know, like we've not met each other than here. So that's what I'm saying. People learn to love you and they really want to interact. So I just think that is super important. And also, you know, maybe you could talk about your YouTube, candles, soap. Are you going to teach something? You know, is that the value you're going to bring? And that's kind of where I tried to do my YouTube a bit different because I wanted to create more of like a teaching, learning kind of thing because I knew when I did it, there was no recipes. So even though I do have a Patreon, please do remember that my YouTube will be exactly the same. You don't need to pay for anything. All the recipes will be the same. Nothing's going to change. My Patreon is more to help small business move. So it's not really about recipes, even though I may have one or two in there, but it's honestly more about, you know, how you start, where you get there, you know, how you boost your business, you know, how I've done it. I'll kind of like put things in about myself that will help. And, you know, suppliers, where I buy stuff, how you can get it, the differences between different citric acids and so on. So it's more like a business one. And, of course, that will also be, the Patreon is where I'll have quite a few things about the conference. So because, you know, we need to know a lot about that. So, you know, that's something I'll have in there quite a bit as well. Now, so that's, like I said, we're talking about the socials. And also, when we talk about socials, make sure you have an email list. It's so important to have an email list. And what I've done on my email list, which has definitely boosted more people joining, each month it's randomly chosen. All the names are just it's actually, I started doing it in a hat, but it's not going to be like that. There's an app. So the app actually will just choose a random person. So whoever's in my email list, once a month, somebody gets chosen and a parcel will be sent to that person. So the person that was chosen for this month's, which has already gone out and sent to them, they live in the suburb of Orange. So if you live in the suburb of Orange, you may be getting a parcel. And so, you know, that's something that I've done just to offer something extra because people are joining. And don't spam them with a million emails. Just try and do 1 or 2 a week. People don't want to have 10. It's very annoying. So, you know, try and make sure that you're thinking, you know, if you wouldn't want it, don't do it. I just try and think, would I like it or not? And the same as I don't put heaps on there as well. Oh, thank you, Laurie. That's so nice. Thank you. Yeah, she's just saying, you know, that people need a boost, and they do. They need help because when you start a business, you don't know. Like, I'm going to be honest. And many, many years ago when I was a single mum and I divorced my first husband, I set up a childcare centre. It was a really small one in a rural town. I actually took my share of the money, which wasn't much. Believe me, it wasn't much. But I actually set up a childcare centre, and then I sold it to ABC. So, you know, I was a little person, and they laughed at me when I went in the office. They burst out laughing and said, there's no way you can do this. You don't know anything. You don't have a degree. But I was always business savvy. So you can't just go and get the money and go and spend it. You need to really be savvy. So, oh, hi, Deb. Welcome, lovely. So, yeah, so that's something, you know, that I definitely advise you to do, so to be business savvy. But that's how, anyway, I sort of did everything that I've done. And you learn as you go along. So that's why I do have quite a lot of business ideas as well behind. Oh, welcome, Christine. Welcome. So now, so we've talked about that bit, which is our social part. So make sure you're emailing and you're doing all that. So now another thing to think about when you're doing socials is you've got to ask, do you need a camera or can you do it with an iPhone? I do everything on an iPhone. I just signed for my email. Thank you, Sue. You're gorgeous. Thank you. I have a lot. I think 100 now signed up for, I think it was 70 odd a couple of days ago, but I think it's 100 now. And that's the thing, people want value. You can't just go and plug, hey, buy my product, you know. You have to give other information because it's no good just saying buy, buy, buy. You know, that's not going to sell someone. They want to resonate with you. They want to like you. They want to see what you're doing. They want to see your growth. And that's why I give away numbers and money sort of values on here, because you want to see what I'm doing. It's no good me saying, hey, I'm doing so well, because you're like, well, what are the figures? Like, and I'm honest. I say it as it is. So don't go telling someone, oh, I made $1 million last year when you only made 10. I mean, there's no good lying. You know, you can't just fake it. I mean, you've got to be honest and say, look, I mean, and as I've said on here, honestly, I was really excited if I had 50 people join me on YouTube. And, you know, now it's like 3,500 or something. And, you know, look, I don't care if I stay at 3,500 or I stay at 20,000. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter how big I am. I'm doing this for value to help. Obviously, it helps me too, but it also helps all of you. Oh, from Georgia, USA. Welcome, lovely. Welcome. I'm glad that you can stop by, because I know in the US it's nighttime, but in Australia it's morning. It's morning tea time for us. And so, like I said, so you know, when you're going to do social media, think about your props. You want a phone, you know, you're going to have a camera. I don't use a camera. I can't afford that yet. You know, are you going to buy like a vinyl backdrop? I bought a cheap one for $30, which is just pink on one side, blue on another. You know, what about your products? What are you going to take photos of? Are you going to use Canva? Because you can import your photos on Canva. You can use Paint Shop and delete the background, which is what I'm doing at the moment. Although I have paid a graphic artist. So he, over the next 2 months, it's going to take a couple months, he will be going in the background, fixing up my website and changing it, but it'll be pretty much the same. He's just cleaning it up and making it all beautiful, so to make it super professional. But you know what, everyone, this has taken me over 3 years to get to this stage. So that's what I want to say. It's not going to happen today, and that's exactly why I set up the Patreon, so that, you know, I can teach you things that I've learned along the way that, look, let's be honest, people don't want to give these secrets away, but I'm happy to give them away. So on there, that's what I'll be talking about, you know, things that I've done, how I started. And don't make an excuse that, oh, well, I don't know how to do social media. You have to. You want to succeed? Honestly, you have to learn. Teach yourself. I taught myself everything on social media. And my daughter, who was 12, taught me TikTok. She's now almost 14. But she taught me TikTok, and I get a lot of orders through TikTok. So don't think that's a kiddie playground. It's not. There's lots of businesses showing what they do, and videos are an easy way to get people to watch, you know, 5 minutes of your time. So anyway, hopefully that has helped as well. And then what you can do is you can just buy a cheap, you know, calendar, and just write in the calendar, you know, Monday, Facebook, for instance. Wednesday might be YouTube. You know, Friday, I'm going to do a selfie and talk about who I am and what I do. So they're kind of things that you can do, and then change it up. So, and for me, honestly, between now my Patreon and everything, I will actually probably be filming, I'm going to say 3 to 4 times a week, because like I said, it's a full-time job doing something like what I'm doing on here, as well as making the products. Honestly, I spend more time on social media and that than making the actual product. What do I get the most orders from? Look, I get quite a lot of orders from YouTube, because everyone knows me on YouTube, but that's only recently. So I would probably say TikTok is where I get most of my orders, but lately I have actually got a lot of people that have seen me on Instagram, and then from Instagram they go to my website and then they buy something. So, and I've had lots of new people lately buy things. Honestly, the last 2 months, I've never had so many orders as the last 2 months, but it's because I'm always on social media, and now people know me. They see what I'm doing. So, and I've only done 2 lots of $100 ads. So I did one the week before, and this week I've got another one. And honestly, I'm going to tell you this. I've had lots of people to my site, but I really haven't had anyone buy from those ads. And I thought, look, I'm going to do a month and see what this does. I'm going to see if this actually works for me. So far, it's a fail, you know, and I've said it before, it hasn't been a good thing, but I thought, look, we're going to try this out and see what happens. So honestly, the thing that works the most is the free social media, just talking about, you know, what you're doing and just showing your products. And you don't have to do a big spiel. Look, this is the thing. I honestly have never read someone's full big description. I've never read it. Yeah, I'm always busy on social media. Yeah, always. Yeah. Yeah, well, I know, Christine, I'm a bit of an old dinosaur too, but my daughter taught me, well, my younger daughter, and then I taught myself. I watched that many YouTubes on it, on how to actually do it. So, and there's actually a guy that talks a lot. I think his name's Justin Brown, and he's very good. He's on YouTube, so check him out. I learnt a lot from him, and there's quite a few that honestly I watch. So, do watch those. So now I thought, look, I'll talk a little bit about my Patreon. I know I said I wasn't going to have one, and the only reason I said I wasn't going to have one is I don't want to have people thinking I'm making heaps of money out of it. Hi, Mel. Hi. Welcome. But, you know, it's more like I said, I'm doing the Patreon more as because I've been asked a lot of times to mentor people. So it's like a mentoring, but a cheaper way to mentor for people, so that, because obviously on Patreon I'm not going to have thousands of people like I do on YouTube, so it's a much smaller audience, so I can give people more of my time, and then it will be, you know, things will be more relatable to business. So you know, like 3 times a week I'll have something on there, and we'll kind of talk about lots of things, and you can ask me so many questions and so on. So that's why. So if you want to go on my Patreon, just go over there. It's $10 a month. So yeah, Trish, that's right. That's what lots of people are saying. I should get paid for my time. But you know, look, I feel bad because I don't want to just be greedy. That's not who I am. I wanted to do this so that everyone can do it. But if you're on my YouTube, please know that nothing's changing. You'll still get everything free. All the recipes are on here. The Patreon is more a business Patreon, and it will be like behind the scenes of, you know, what I do, how my day goes, how I organize it, suppliers. We'll have videos of going inside suppliers and things like that that I'm teeing up at the moment. So anyway, that's what that's for. And like I said, it allows more of a one-on-one thing because there'll be a lot less people on there. A bit about behind the scenes. We'll do some videos, some posts, and I'll do a 15-minute live once a week on that. And that's going to be on a Wednesday at 8 p.m. so that people can log in. So that's what the live's going to be on there on my Patreon. And I'm going to put a bit of a calendar on there so everyone will know what we're going to be doing on there. So if you've actually subscribed, which is a couple people on there already, and I only launched it less than 24 hours ago. So then I will actually start talking about that so everyone will know. And then I'm actually going to also create some worksheets so that you can like have a sheet and then sort of figure out what you're going to do from then. Oh, that's so cute. Your granddaughter wrote it down, how to navigate. Oh, my last video, I actually did put a link in for my Patreon. And after this one loads, I'll put another link in so that you'll be able to see it. So, yeah, I'll start putting the Patreon link in for people that want to see it as well. And so I thought that maybe I'll try and do some worksheets sometimes to go with different videos so that you can sit there and figure out what you want to do and so on, because I've had trainees in the past, and, you know, I have actually trained people in different jobs. So, like, I do understand how to actually train people. And the books are really good. Like, when you have a worksheet, it kind of gives you something to focus on. And I think a worksheet's great for any age. So you can just either print it out or you'll be able to fill it out online or whatever. So, but like I said, you know, I suggest you fill it out, and then that will kind of give you an idea of where we go from that. Oh, thank you, Christine. Thank you. That's so nice. Oh, thanks, Deb. You're amazing. Yeah, and, you know, look, if any of you want to know anything about Patreon, or, you know, what I'm doing over there, or if anyone wants me to talk about something, just let me know. But, of course, you know, I always put a lot on here, but that would just be a little extra for people over there, and, you know, worksheets and things that I don't put on here because it takes a lot of time, like a lot of time to do them as well. Oh, someone has 2,000 Patreons. Oh, never heard of that. I didn't know. But, you know, look, to me, honestly, I just, you know, look, I really love helping more than anything. I really love helping. And some people have contacted me and said, look, I've actually got my first order, or I've got 10 orders, and it's because you told me to do this, and somebody found me where you said to do it. And honestly, it makes my heart sing when somebody says, look, because of your advice, I've actually got orders. I'm so excited. It's actually working. And that's the thing, you know, look, if you just sit there and go, look, I don't know how to do social media, I'm not going to do it, it's too hard. You're not, look, I'm going to be honest, you're not going to work. It's not going to succeed. You need to just keep going. And as many of you know, I mean, my darling dad passed away in December, but I still had to keep going. You can't just sit there and not do a video. You can't, I mean, of course there's times that I cry and I'm sad, but there is times that you just have to. I mean, you've committed to this. And my dad would be the first person to say, you committed to this. You give people what they want, you know. So that's what I'm going to say. You know, your life is important, but it's more important that you're bringing value to what you've promised to give. Oh, thank you, Deb. You're a darling. And I am a kind heart. My dad used to say I have a baby kind heart. Because, you know, any animal, I mean, I would just pick it up and nurture it. You know, I was always the mumsy in the group. And I always said to my mum I was going to have 10 children, but I had 7. So I cut short 3. But, you know, I still had 7. So, but most of my babies have left the nest. So then I've got time to do this. And I'm really, honestly, I'm so passionate about small business because, you know, we all need a help. And I spoke about this the other week. If you think about this, you know, big companies are spending $200,000 a month, sometimes more, on to get their name in front of yours on Google. So you're not going to be able to do that. So the thing that you can do is you can do things on social media. You know, you can just bring your name up there by constantly showing people you're there, you're not giving up, you're available. So that's what I'm going to say. Just make sure, honestly, that you're always there, you're offering content, you're offering value, not just plugging your product. Like, of course, on Instagram, you know, you're going to see pictures of my product, of course, because that's what I do, that's what I sell. But at the same time, people also see me. You know, there's times that I'll put a picture of me in it because people want to see who you are. They want to see who's making it for them. And look, I'm going to be honest, if I've seen this a few times, when people have had like somebody that's been really mean to them, or, you know, you've had a customer that's carried on or complained, and then what they've actually done with that customer is then they've screenshotted the thing the customer's done and put it on social media. I would never do that. Never. I mean, don't be that kind of Karen or Tracy and get a picture and put that picture on social media of a customer complaining. Take that as constructive criticism. Even if they're really mean and really rude, just go, okay, they're clearly mad, they're passionate about it because they're angry and they're not happy. Now, how can I fix it? So that's exactly what I do. Yeah, so many people, they definitely need it. And, you know, we need to connect with businesses. More and more businesses are online. I've had lots of people say that their businesses are online. They're not going to have a shop. And I talked about this the other week. I think it's called Bath Box. I've only been following them a few months now, like maybe 6 months. But they were a little company, and look, they're still only online. They don't do a wholesale, they're just online. And they said the other day in an interview that they're going to be taking $25 million in 2022. That's their expected income. So they're just a little Australian bath bomb company. But you know where they're clever? Social media. They're always on social media. That's how they got their name across. So that's the thing. You've got to constantly be on it. And I know one of the sisters was always doing the social media and the other one was making stuff. So if you can't do it, ask one of your kids. Can you post? Tell them what to post. You know, if you've got teenagers, they're onto it 5 seconds and they've done it. So, I mean, I do post everything myself. Sometimes it'll be my daughter holding a product because she has much prettier hands than me and beautiful nails because she gets her nails done. So she's often holding the product like this, but I'm a nail biter, so I'm not a good one to hold the product. But anyway, that's what I was saying. You know, just make sure that you're doing all of that, and you know, you're trying your best. I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know that you've given it the best crack that you can give it. So, and I'm going to be honest here, I never thought ever, honestly, I never thought I would have this many people following me on YouTube. Never. It honestly did not enter my mind. I never thought I'd even get paid by YouTube. You know, and I don't get paid a lot. It's a few $100s a month, and that really just pays for the products that I use, because sometimes I make things for you guys to teach you, but I don't sell them. I don't always sell everything. So, you know, but anyway, like I said, that's what you got to do. And even the other day, I put a post up saying I'm going to do 50% off my sale because I wanted just to move that out so that I can come for the next thing. And I think I had $400 in sales in one day. So don't be a cheapskate and say, well, I still want full price. I mean, if you need to move a product, you need to do it really cheap and it just helps move it. You get some money back for it and then you can go on to your next thing because you're always going to grow, evolve, and so on. So that's one thing that I would definitely say, you know, and social media, that was free social media and people just did that. Oh, thank you, Laurie. You're an absolute darling. Thank you. And I hope I'm an inspiration because I hope that you guys can see that I'm just a normal person. Like, honestly, our house that we own, we couldn't afford a $500,000 home. And in Australia, homes are around $700,000 is an average home. We couldn't afford that. Our home, we only paid just over $300,000 because, and it was run down. We've had to do it up and we've done it all up ourselves with our own hands. We couldn't afford builders and whatever. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not a rich person. I'm a very average person. So I just want people to understand they can do this. Yeah, Deb, this is my full-time job. It wasn't before. I actually did work in a store. So I actually worked for a department store and that kind of helped me fund this a little bit. I started with $22 and just practiced on soap. And I just bought it from my local sort of grocery store, you know. So that's how I started. Yeah, that's right, Christine. You're right. You know, I wish you could get a house for that. You can't get a house anymore for $190,000. You just can't. But, you know, and my home is right out in Gippsland, which is like, honestly, it's an hour and a half from the city because we couldn't afford to live closer in. But, you know, this is what I'm saying. You know, don't be ashamed of who you are. Like, I grew up in a poor family. My parents couldn't even afford the uniform half the time for school. We didn't wear uniform because they didn't have the money. But, you know, my dad always said to me, you can better yourself. Always step up. He said, your generation might step up one step. Then the next one steps at another. So, as he said, you know, I taught you the beginnings of creating this, which he did, even though my dad didn't have the nerve to do it. He kept saying, go on, don't worry what anyone says, because I had people saying, you're not going to make it. There's too many soapers, there's too many candle makers. No one will watch you on YouTube. You're from Australia. I mean, you know, you have that annoying Aussie accent. But it's not true. Yeah, he is very wise, Christine. And that's the thing that I want to say, you know, like, so even if you're a small person, you don't have a lot of money, don't be persuaded. Please don't be persuaded to stop. Because, you know, don't take out a loan. Don't take out a credit card. Just slowly put any little bit of money you have to do it and go on all the free platforms. There's so many free platforms and that's how you can get yourself at the start. But, you know, if you want to come on to my Patreon, like I said, it's like $10 a month. You know, if you can afford that. But if you can't, please don't keep watching this channel. This channel will still help you a lot. So, oh, hi, Sophia. Welcome, darling. Thank you for that. And yeah, and so that's what I want to say. And then that's why I thought the Patreon will be good, because I'm going to give a lot of business tips that have sort of helped me along the way as well, that I've learnt myself. Oh, Deb, you're amazing. Thank you, Deborah. And that is my mother-in-law's name, Deborah. And my mother-in-law is an absolute gem. She's beautiful. She buys from me. So she was the only family member at the start, honestly, the only one that bought from me. And she used to buy little lip balms for her friends at her card nights. And she'd buy soap. And I'd say, I'll give it to you half price. She said, no, I'll just pay. You tell me and I'll give you the money. So, you know, look, sometimes you can just have one person. And you know what? My mother-in-law's older friends from the card night often say, can you get that from your friend? That's right, exactly, Deborah. I started this with cash, no loan. I didn't have a loan. We wouldn't have had the money. Like, honestly, we wouldn't have got a loan because we didn't have any money. We're just average people. So that's what I'm saying. You know, yeah, no, you know, so just keep trying and don't let somebody say no. And you know what? I've been watching a lot of inspirational people at the moment that are just so clever, and they come up with these little lines, and it makes you think, I can do this. Because look, there's even times that I think, oh, gee, I'm only getting one sale a month. Maybe I should give up, you know. But, oh, what camera do I use? Deb. No, so the camera that I actually use is my iPhone. My husband got me this iPhone on a plan. Once again, we couldn't afford to buy it outright. So he got me on the this phone, and we just use that as a tax write-off as well. And it's an iPhone. So... But when I first started, I was working on an iPhone 8, an old iPhone 8. So, and that's how I took my first lot of videos. And, you know, I know that my camera skills on here aren't as clear as, you know, like when you see people like Jerica from Quench, hers is beautiful. Oh, thank you, Sophia. She is. She's a darling. Yeah, and as I was saying, when you're talking about people like Quench and that, you know, like they're using cameras that are amazing. They have camera skills that I don't have. And I think it's like a TV show. It's amazing. I love them. I watch her all the time. But the thing is, you don't have to be as good as that. You don't have to be. You can just start with your phone. And as I said, I really didn't think anyone was going to watch me on YouTube. I really didn't. And even when I do lives and I get 20 and 30 people, I'm like, really? You know, people are taking time to watch a live of me, and then after the live, I'll get hundreds watching it. And the graphic artist that I've hired, he said to me, I'm so shocked. He said he was shocked that I loaded a video and like 500 had watched it within, I think it was 6 hours or something. And he said to me, that is so good with the numbers that you have on YouTube. And that's what I'm saying. You don't need heaps of numbers. Yeah, Jerica, you love Jerica. I know, she is really good. And it doesn't help that she's just such a sweet person. And she has that sweet voice. I think that's, you know, helps her too, doesn't it? But, you know, but she is really good. And I did really love her. I also like Holly from Mo River. She's really amazing. I love watching Holly as well. Eden Secrets from the UK. I watch her all the time. She is hilarious. Me and my daughter laugh all the time watching her because she's so funny. She puts the bloopers in, which I love. But that's what I'm saying, you know. These people all started with one person. None of them started big. Jerica says all the time. She never thought she'd be huge. And, you know, look how big her channel has grown. So that's what I'm saying. And you don't have to do YouTube. Maybe you want to do like Instagram Reels or Instagram Lives. That's another thing you can do as well. That's easy. Yeah, Christine, you're funny. I mean, yeah, that's right. Eden Secrets. I mean, she's hilarious. I love Karen on there. You know, and the fact that her name's Karen makes me laugh more. So, but I love her. I've been watching her from the start. And, of course, you know, Royalty. Of course, I've been watching her. But I think the thing with Royalty is I make things that are quite different to her. So it probably doesn't resonate as much for me as Karen or someone like that. Oh, Mrs. Soap and Clay. Yep, love her too. I watch her. And I was so excited when she got 10,000 subscribers. I was really happy for her. Because, and you know what? This is what I love. She was so excited. She was watching that clock tick back of how many people until she hit the 10,000, and then she cried. And I thought, oh my God, that is so beautiful because she's really dedicated. And that's the thing too. You know, you've got to be dedicated. You've got to show up. You've got to love what you do because honestly, the amount of times, I'm going to be honest, sometimes I'm out of my bed at 8 a.m. and I'm in the studio till 11 p.m. at night sometimes. So that's the thing. You have to, until you can afford to pay a worker to come in, probably at Christmas time this year, I might have to pay someone to come and just help me pack and things like that. But that's the thing as well. Yeah, Royalty Soaps, yeah, I agree. She's really trendy and she's kind of back and forward. And yeah, and I'm sorry if she sees my video. She's probably not going to because I'm just a little person. But, you know, I'm sorry if she sees that because I did love her and I do sometimes watch her, but she is back and forward a lot. So, and that yeah, I can't concentrate on that at all. But anyway, like I said, you know, you got to support the big and you got to support the small. So, yeah, Mrs. Soap and Clay, love her, Laurie. She's good. I really do love her. And you know what? I love her no crap kind of attitude, you know. She just rolls with the punches and just says it as it is. And she kind of has that wit. I like that dry kind of wit sometimes. But anyway, you know, there's lots of people that you can watch. But as I said, if you want to join my Patreon, just go over. And I'll pop the link later on down the bottom. But I think my last video, actually the video that I've done, which a Patreon kind of like, we only went for 2 minutes just to talk about it a bit. The link is in the description. So you'll be able to go into that link and find it and go on there if you want to. And make sure you write me a message in Patreon once you've joined to say that you're happy for your name or your business name to be on here. Because I do want to give back and pop your name on so that other people may be able to find you and see what you're up to as well, because they might love your products. You don't know. So if you join, like I said, make sure you do that, and I'll pop you on my social medias and so on, just to talk about that a little bit as well. And when my new website's gone on, we'll sort of put some names on that as well, because I think that's a good idea. But anyway, for now, I will go because my voice is getting a little husky now, and I'll go and have my coffee. But I hope you've enjoyed our Sunday chat. So get going, everyone. Learn social media. Do some research on YouTube. There's so many people on here that can talk to you about it. Oh, what printer do I use? Oh, look, on my printer for labels, somebody's asking. All I use, it's a HP. Let me have a look at it. I think it's got a 3700, $39 or $49, whatever it was, cheap. It's just a cheap printer. Yeah, the printer that I've got is just a cheap one from my local department store, and then I use a Cricut machine to print, and I design it on Canva first. So yeah, so hopefully that's helped. But I will even kind of go into things like that on my Patreon as well. I might go a bit more in depth onto it and show everyone step by step how I'm actually doing it. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, have a great day, everyone. I'll let you go, and make sure you're kind to someone else. That's the biggest thing. It's free to be kind. So send somebody something lovely today. Anyway, bye, friends. See you next time. Bye.